Let's get it started. So with the top six in the Premier League, let's
Oof.
go one by one. And who's your number six? Who's
I'm
your
I'm
number six?
gonna hey, progress in any respect is incremental, right?
Hmm.
You can't expect someone to go from eighth, ninth to first or seventh to first. I'm gonna say my sixth place is Arsenal. And it really kind of comes down to you have Chaka back. You've got a couple targeted signings so far that have addressed maybe what people see as concerns. I don't really see center back as a concern, more so than finding more attacking flair. But hey, I think if they can keep their core healthy, Gabriel and oh man, who is the center? Ben White
Yep.
should be a very solid center back pairing. And I think the academy products are going to come clean. They're going to do well. I think Smith Rowe and Saka are going to have the seasons of their lives. I think Obama Yang is going to get back on his horse and score maybe 10 to 15 goals. And I think they're going to move up incrementally and set the bar higher for the year, the next year. What do you think? I think Arsenal European football. It's going to happen.
My sixth place is Arsenal too.
Oh, there you go.
But I have a reason why. I've got two reasons, and I think Arteta might get sacked this season. Okay, I'm
Whoa.
gonna just
Okay.
put it out there. I think
Yeah.
Arteta might get sacked this season because the truth is, this is the all in for Arteta. Okay, they're
Uh,
spending money when there's no European competitions, and the
mhm.
fact that there's no European competitions, you have to end up in the top six, the
Sure.
least. Okay, the least. No
Sure.
European competitions, top six. And another reason why I did put them in the top six is because I think Saka will get better next season. Smith Rowe will get better next season. Aubameyang, I do expect him performing as a
Yeah.
350K a week, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to score goals for when you're receiving that amount of money.
Right.
And Ben White, I do criticize Ben White a lot, but I think he's going to be a good pair with Ben White, with Gabriel. You see, he
Yeah.
won't be the next level center back duo like we're going to see maybe at City still, Liverpool and United, but they'll be a good enough duo in my opinion. But they
Yeah.
still need another midfielder next to Partey.
I
They
agree.
need another midfielder next to Partey.
And his name is
So
Miguel Aziz. No, just kidding. No, and I'm also excited. Here's what you have to think about, right? And Arteta getting sacked. That's an
mhm.
interesting prediction. I'm gonna actually we're gonna revise that or look at that down the road. Um, they need to keep healthy, and already in the early friendlies, you've got Thomas Partey. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but he's injured. Gabriel, I think, picked up a injury as well. And like, come on, that doesn't bode well if that's going to happen all throughout the season because they're going to be working with a smaller roster because guess what? They don't
Mhm.
have European competition to deal with. So I'd expect them to go hard at the FA Cup as well. And I really, we have to shout out one name in there that I would love to see get his chance because of the working with a smaller roster, and that's Folarin Balogun. And I
Mhm.
probably screwed up his name. I mean, there was that whole kind of contract thing back and forth, whether or not he was going to go or stay. But this kid could be the truth. I mean, he could be a really solid go getter for them. But I expect to see incremental growth from the youngsters this year.
Mhm.
And I think a guy like Kieran Tierney is not
Yeah.
going into this season to take seventh or take eighth, seventh or eighth, whatever
Yeah.
they did last season. It ain't happening under
Eighth, 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 eighth.
Tierney this year. Okay. So, and we, you know,
I just knocked my microphone down. That's how excited I was. Yeah.
Let's see.
So
I still can't hear you well. Don't worry. I could kick in now here while Brendan's seeing the mic. I feel like it's very important too. If James Madison is coming in, okay, we need to start looking at Arsenal as a top four maybe, okay? Because if they sign Madison plus a player that's really good in midfield next to
mhm.
that's that is pretty much it in my opinion. But if they're giving Reece Nelson, Joey Willock, Maitland-Niles, and there was another player too, that is too much. But the player that you forgot to mention, I think, is Martinelli. Martinelli won't be seen the same if he doesn't perform this season, because he can't use the injuries as an excuse anymore, because he's played in the Olympics coming off the bench, I think. So he's back. Okay, so let's see.
Let's see. Yeah, so you can hear me okay now after I threw my microphone across the room? Goodness. I told you it's early here. So why don't you start with your number 5?
Okay, my number 5, I'm going to go safe here. I'm not going to go bold. I'm going to go Leicester. Because Leicester, I feel like now we can trust them. I like the coach. I like Brendan Rodgers. And just the fact that Brendan Rodgers refused to coach Tottenham, that shows that Leicester are doing a pretty good job. Good owner, overall fantastic team. Even if they sell Maddison for 70 million, that's one heck of a deal. And I trust them to get 2 players like Maddison. Okay? So, Pastandaka, I think, is going to work out wonderful. Somare, last podcast, I only praised him. I'm going to praise him even more. He's a baller, okay? Sumare is going to shock the league. Tielema, Vardy, they got so many talents. So I'm pretty safe on them. Number 5.
Well, here I'm going to pour a little cold water on that excitement there, Alex. I had them as number 5 as well, which shows, I guess, how much we think alike. I think we'll change that in the near future, I'm sure. But that Wesley Fofana, I don't know if you saw that, but he's probably out the year, right? That hurts. Now they have Soyuncu, I think is how you pronounce that last name, the Turkish center back.
Yes.
They have Johnny Evans as well. I don't really know who they have behind that. I mean, Big Wes Morgan's gone, right?
Isn't Kabak going there, I think?
He could be, yes. And I would imagine that they're going to address that sooner rather than later, and they probably should, because Fofana being out. But Fofana, even in his, I think he came in October of last year, he was just unbelievable, right? Absolutely unbelievable. And to miss that, it's a cog in the wheel that unfortunately puts them at 7th for me. Even though if you did this a month ago, I actually had them in the top 3, top 4, right? So is Wesley Fofana that important to them? I don't know. I really don't know. But you're right. Like Boubakary Samare, Wilfred Ndidi, Yuri Tielemans, Harvey Barnes to kick it up a notch again. There's a lot of really good pieces there, and yet number 5, I have Tottenham. And I don't know why. No, just kidding. I know why. And this is more kind of an atmospheric type of take on Tottenham. I'm going to treat Tottenham like the West Ham of last year. You might recall West Ham heading into last year's season. There was a lot of internal strife. Transfers not happening. A whole lot of what the heck is going on at West Ham, and man, they're looking like they're going to get relegated. And then what do? They go on and they have the best season, I believe, in their history, right? Or one of the best seasons in their recent history.
Yes.
So I think this internal strife brought on at Spurs by the whole Harry Kane craziness, and I know we have more to say about that in the near future. This is the type of crap that actually unites a team. Okay. And you have to look at the midfield that they're building on. Okay, they're going to potentially need a striker, maybe.
You love Højbjerg.
Yeah, but Højbjerg, I mean, Dombele, Lo Celso, Oliver Skip, and Harry Winks. Hopefully, neither of them go out. I want them to actually get their chance this season. And then you got Son. Son he's going to have to perform this year. They're going to have to bring in another attacker, probably a striker. And we already know who our preferred target would be. We'll mention him probably later. But I mean, I do believe that the core is here. And then you add Christian Romero to the mix and Golini. This is a good team. I mean, this is not a team that should be that could be the Denmark of this season. That's what I'm saying. Okay, they should come together, and I think it would be a coup for them to finish 5th. Even though I would imagine most Spurs supporters say, "What are you talking about? We should be 2-3 every year, right?"
True.
But that's my 5th.
Well, the potential that Spurs had, even when Bale left the club, like they were being set as like the future club, like that would overthrow and even win the league. The hype with Poch, Tottenham like did achieve big lengths, but they're in 7th in my list. I'm just gonna say that. I don't think Tottenham are gonna have a big season. I think they'll suffer with Harry Kane leaving. He's gonna leave, and it'll be very hard. So my number 5 was Leicester. So you want to start with the 4? No, you want me? I could start with the 4.
Yeah. Go ahead, start with the 4 because I have a feeling I'm gonna get dragged in the mud.
We're gonna start the Champions League football, guys. So pay attention. My number 4 is Man United. Okay, why Man United? First of all, if you listen to this podcast weekly, you know I'm not a big fan of Ollie, and I think this is gonna be Ollie's last season of Man United. I think he's going to be exposed with players like Varane, players like Maguire having enough. I think the locker room will have enough. And no title, no Ollie. That's it. Too much money spent, and it is a young squad, okay? So he did develop. And the fact that's why I don't get why they had the contract extension, okay? That's the contract extension is like, so I don't get it, because they needed guarantees, in my opinion. A big club like Man United needs guarantees that they're going to win titles. And does Ollie give that? He doesn't give that to me, okay? I'm going to put them in 4th. And yeah, I think Sancho will have a fantastic season. But I think they'll end up in 4th.
Yeah, so you're saying growing pains, basically.
Yeah, I'm not. I think the Champions League they'll go through in the Champions League. They'll go far, in my opinion. Okay. But I'm not seeing the rest.
So like a maybe a rising 4th, but they need the proper coach for them to.
In fact, even Varane can get injured too. Varane is injury prone, and an injury-prone Varane could be good in the Champions League setting, and not in the Premier League that's week in, week out. And my top 3 is too strong, I think, for United still. They did add up Varane, they have Maguire, they have Sancho, they have big dogs, but they need those Van Dijks, Kanes, big players, you know.
I think Cavani's got a king-like season. No, just kidding. I don't know for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about United in a little bit because they're not my number 4. My number 4, and it's going to rankle you, is Liverpool. You know, and there's actually a lot to be said about. Well, first off, I have to preface this. My top 4 are going to be close. Like, this is close. I see this as a 4-dog race. I'm not putting this in as, you know, say a Manchester City runs away 12 points type of league situation like last year, right? I do see this as a 4-horse race for most of the season. And Liverpool being in 4th doesn't necessarily, for me, mean that they're going to be, you know, 20 points off the top. Okay. So there's a lot of good things to think about here, right? And the biggest one is what? Van Dijk, Joe Gomez. Hopefully that center back pairing is back, healthy, and ready for the season. And just in case, they spend a nice chunk of money on Ibrahima Konate, and they always have, you know, Joel Matip to clean things up. And Fabinho, the new deal, that's a big deal as well for Liverpool. And Trent, I also believe,
and Alisson,
deal, right?
And Alisson.
Yeah, so they're really reaffirming their core. But here's one of the biggest positives I have for them, and it's making me almost already second guess putting them in 4th, is the return of Gomez. The return of any defensive depth for them allows a Trent Alexander-Arnold and a Robertson to go back to their old marauding ways, right?
Exactly.
And that is a big deal. I don't discount that, but I feel like they need a midfield injection. And I feel like the other teams have kind of figured it out They understand what makes Liverpool tick. So even though I believe it's going to be carnage in the top four, I got Liverpool on the outside looking in. Even though everything I just said was positive. So what the hell do I know?
You're a positive guy, Brendan. You're a positive guy, Brendan.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to go with the third place, so?
Do it.
My third place. This is so difficult this season, but my third place is Chelsea. Okay, I'm gonna put Chelsea in third, even though I think they're gonna get Lukaku. I think that deal's gonna happen, and that is scary. Okay,
Yes.
my top three, like I don't know, the third place, like Chelsea can be in first, but I'm gonna go bold here, and I think they'll end up in third. Okay, because even though they had a Champions League team without a striker, and they found that striker, I still feel like Liverpool and City, they're a different animal still for Chelsea. They need one more year or two to get the league. It's going to be pretty close. I do agree with you in terms of points.
Yeah.
But but it's gonna be good. Getting Champions League football in this Premier League this season will be seen as an achievement. Okay.
Yeah.
I know for some fans this might be hard to hear, like United fans, Chelsea fans, or Liverpool. Let's see who ends up in not the position they want, or even City. But I just feel like Chelsea, he'll change the tactics. I think he'll change the tactics too. And I did want to mention this on Chelsea. Chelsea managed to get 90 million euros just with 3 transfers. Chelsea. Sure. They're gonna sell maybe Tammy Abraham for 40 million, Mark Gahey 20 million, and Tomori 30 million. That's a lot
of cheddar. Yeah,
that's a lot of cheddar, and that's pretty good. Pretty good cheddar. 90 million. Okay.
Yeah.
And 3 players.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's real, and I have him a little higher just because it didn't take Tuchel that long to kind of change the ethos of the club and get him back up and running. But I'll explain that with my next one.
And I'd like to add too at the end, it's still Kai Havertz is still going to develop. Mason Mount will develop even better. Pulisic, yes, I'm kind of on the fence who I bet more, Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi. I feel like both of them. It's going to be a tough decision too for Tuchel. Maybe the salary will help out. I don't know. It's not an easy decision in my opinion.
Or they'll both be playing wing back for him.
Well, Hudson-Odoi did work out, but in January I do think too he's willing to invest. Tuchel.
Sure.
Let's see.
I'm with you there, and that's why my top 4 is pretty much interchangeable. But my third is we'll go back to United. Is Manchester United. Okay, and I think there will be growing pains. I kind of preface that in when you were talking about United. But I believe that they are a defensive midfielder away from being a force in the league. Potentially. And Pogba is back, which is interesting. He's back in training as obviously you expect if there has been no kind of reconciliation or interest shown elsewhere, like the PSG interest we thought was going to take win, but they're going to be without Marcus Rashford early on in the season. And I have to just take 1 second to give this kid a little more kudos than I think anyone gives him. We know off the field he's an amazing person. On the field, though, he has been like the top U23 producer the last 2 seasons. Okay, and that's Premier League's a little more of a developed league, right? There's not many U23s that are like handed the keys and run away with it. But last season he had 17 goals, 9 assists. Last season he had 11 goals, 11 assists. The season before that, 17 goals, 9 assists. I mean, 48 goal involvements in 2 seasons, even amidst, kind of this revolving door of injuries and all that fun stuff. Marcus Rashford is going to play a big part for them this year, along with them trying to find a defensive midfielder. They get Camavinga. I think next season they win the league, right? But this season, Yeah, I think growing pains. Manchester United will finish in third. And I, I really, it could change. It could change either way.
Kamavinga would come clutch. Like Kamavinga would come clutch.
He would. He would.
Like
And there's probably more battle tested defensive midfielders. Who knows? Maybe you get like this renaissance of Fred this season for them, or McTominay just becomes an absolute force in the midfield. But we're going to know early on whether or not that's the case. Right?
Maybe they should loan out Anibal Mejri, and in a couple of years' time, they're thinking, "What a defensive move we got here."
Yeah,
So I like your pick at third, Man United. Well, I'm not that hopeful because I feel that's a big gap next to Scott McTominay still to fill, but. Let's see. And Maguire will be more of a stopper. Like Maguire will be more comfortable with Varane because Varane provides the depth to get the wingers, to get those long balls. So let's see. It's interesting. So my second place, I'm gonna say Liverpool. Why Liverpool in second? Well, I think it's pretty simple. Liverpool have something to prove. Okay? And a player like Van Dijk that is already being mocked just for a clip of him being over like Jovetic going through him. Like people are already mocking Van Dijk coming from a huge injury, okay? Like calm down, people. And you said Joe Gomez and Van Dijk, the duo. I think it's going to be Konate and Van Dijk in the middle of the season. Because Konate is looking built different. That guy is a proper unit, okay? He's huge. Konate is huge. So Van Dijk and Konate, I'm really hopeful. And another thing, you pointed it out, and I was going to point that out, and that's the reason why I think they'll be in second. Yes, they're not signing players like Kai Havertz. They're not signing Werners. They're not signing players like Chelsea and players like City. But Alisson Becker just renewed his contract until, I think, 2027. Trent Alexander-Arnold got his contract extended until 2025. And I feel like they're picking the future. Who's going to stay? I feel like there's a plan with Liverpool. And Trent, having Van Dijk at the back again, is going to give him, he's going to get comfortable again, and he's going to put those crosses in that it's going to be on point. Because this is what people don't think. While you're playing football, okay, it's obviously you're going to think who's at the back protecting you while you go forwards. And I can assure you that Trent feels much more comfortable with Van Dijk. Okay, it's and the midfield, I think they're going to sign a midfielder. I hope it's Gnat Sanch. Come on, Klopp, get Gnat Sanch to Liverpool. Like, it's the perfect fit. This is the perfect fit, in my opinion. Or Saul. I don't get why Saul gets so much hate. And plus, Rodrigo de Paul went to Atletico, which we're gonna talk further. But Rodrigo de Paul going to Atletico can mean that Saul can come to Liverpool, and it's a good fit too. So I believe that Liverpool have something to prove. Klopp has something to prove, and that second place, I feel like it's gonna happen.
So, like, that was the negative thing I was going to say about Liverpool in fourth. When I had him at fourth was that's a pretty injury-prone center back pairing now. Konate has not played too much over the last 18 months. He's been injured as well in a lot of ways. But hey, Liverpool, I think the wild card there. Mo Salah is going to do Mo Salah things. Sadio Mane is going to do Sadio Mane things. But the wild card in that midfield until they do get someone like Renato Sanchez is going to be Curtis Jones. And, what can Harvey Elliott provide from a youth perspective? I would love to see them both just become integral forces for Liverpool. So that will be fun to watch. But my two, if you can, we're rearranging the deck chairs here, right? If you can do the math by process of elimination, my number two right now is going to be Chelsea, which means we both have the same number one. But even if the defense isn't upgraded, right, with Jules Koundé, which I believe is kind of still in the possibility realm, you've got still one of the better defenses in the league. Okay. And you've also got one of the best tacticians in the league. You might be right. He might over tinker after coming in halfway through the season and being like, oh, wait, I can win a Champions League. And then he goes and he does it. There might be some tinkering when it comes down to the Prem. But if you look at the pieces that he's seen, Tuchel has seen kind of progress this offseason, like a Jorginho, right? How instrumental was he to that Italian win?
True.
Okay. I really do see that he can bring that type of leadership into a tactic that Tuchel delivers to them. And it's just whether or not it's kind of flawless on delivery. Mm-hmm. And I think Jorginho is going to be a very, very big portion or part of that. And you mentioned it, 87 million pounds or so, or euros for a couple players that they were likely not going to be giving a shot anyway, gives them a nice little shot in the arm that they probably didn't need from liquid cash that they can go out and spend. And I got to bring this up, and you and I were talking about this beforehand. You know, you're looking at Lukaku, who's 28, and by all means, he offers the same way Haaland offers something you just can't get anywhere else. Lukaku is the exact same way. But why not look at somebody that you can actually grow with over time, like a Dusan Vlahovic for up top, if you're trying to get a Giroud meets, somebody maybe a little more mobile, right? Dusan Vlahovic would come in at a lot cheaper than that. It's just, I don't know if it fits the Roman Abramovich. See, I did it again. Abramovich, sorry. Because I'm about to talk about Tammy Abraham, right? I just don't believe he fits that mold. So I don't think they're going to go that direction. But like just their spine, everything. They've got depth. They've got young guys that they're moving. Like Reece James should have another very, very solid year and play a massive part for them. He's got all the pieces, and I believe Tuchel is the one that can put them together to fight with City for the Premier League title this year.
The three big names I put here down that are going to develop is Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and Reece James. You're spot on there.
And if you get a Timo Werner that can actually hit the broadside of a barn. I don't know. I mean, this team, he's shown it before with Leipzig. He can do it again, and I believe he will do it again this season, or I'll eat crow. But
I believe he'll do it, but maybe not at Chelsea. Let's see. I hope he does it at Chelsea. I hope.
Well, yeah, I also have to remember he had 12 assists last year.
Yeah,
Werner.
But
he wasn't
not the right time. It was not at the right time though. And in football, it's all about timing, moments. And the truth is, Kai Havertz is a Chelsea legend because he scored the goal that won the Champions League.
Yeah,
that's it. It's about timing. Big moments, big players come up.
We did say back then that no matter what Kai Havertz ever did beyond this in a Chelsea shirt, he is going to be a legend forever for that goal.
He will be. But and I like to end off with Chelsea because we're gonna mention City next, and it's Haaland. Like I feel like Haaland was gonna happen for 130 million, but Dortmund didn't even believe that anyone was gonna give 130 million. So now the chit chat is 175 million.
I know.
Okay, so you can get Haaland for 60 million next season. Okay, and clubs are willing to pay double. That shows how special Erling Haaland is. Okay, almost 21. Triple would be the 170 that Dortmund is trying to get. Okay, but they won't get it. But Lukaku, you said why are they getting Lukaku? Because they can, Brendan. Abramovich can. Abramovich gets what Abramovich wants. Lukaku is what he wants. There you go. There he goes and get it.
That would be interesting. A Lukaku return to Stamford Bridge would be one hell of a thing.
And I'll be honest, like he's got really good memories, Lukaku, with Didier Drogba.
Sure.
So, like if you're growing up and you're learning with Drogba, I'm sure in his mind he thought one day maybe it's gonna be me, the number one guy at the club. So he worked it.
Could be, yeah.
So you want to go with the number one?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have much to say here. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, Manchester City, right? The whole back-to-back Premier League title thing, there's definitely something to that, right? It doesn't happen often. but it has. Manchester City, it's very clear that I was wrong in the last podcast, and it seems this is my mea culpa. I believe Jack Grealish is definitely headed to the Etihad. So, wow. Man, he has a glut of things. I guess they're still going to be playing with a false nine, unless, of course, something happens that you want to happen. But I do remember a soundbite. I don't know from where or when it was, or if it was even verified. But he said, I believe it was Pep saying that there's no way you're going to be able to get both of them in one year. It's just too much, right? But hey, you have to talk Grealish aside. The rotating cast of characters that's still there. You keep Kevin De Bruyne healthy. You got João Cancelo back. You have obviously one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. I can't put anyone above them until they prove otherwise.
Okay. I put Man City number 1 too, and first reason why I'm gonna put Man City number 1, and I want to say this: Kevin De Bruyne is leaving the Euros as a man that won't win anything for Belgium. Okay, right. So he's on a mission. Okay, to get that Champions League. He still hasn't got the Champions League, okay, that he deserves as the number 1 player, okay? So I feel like even De Bruyne is coming to the Man City management, and he's demanding a lot, okay? Because it was actually him that did the contract negotiations for himself at City. So I'm sure the talk was, who's coming? I need players to come. If we're not going to win with this, Aguero's leaving. Yes, Aguero didn't leave for, on a big transfer fee. He left for free, but the contract salary, like, there's a huge gap there. Okay, huge gap there, and it's gonna be filled. It's gonna be filled. They got Grealish, and they're gonna get Kane. So this is what's gonna happen this summer for me. Grealish becomes the most expensive Premier League signing in history. Lukaku, okay, then becomes the most expensive Premier League player in history. And then Man City are going to go bold, and they're going to do checkmate by getting Harry Kane this summer. And screw it. They want it. They get it. City is going to go bold, and they're going to get Kane and Grealish. It's going to be insane. Insane. Yeah. And Guardiola, okay, I'm glad you mentioned that Guardiola said he wasn't going to get a striker. He did mention that pretty soon, and we were here talking, saying, oh, maybe they'll invest in Leon Delap.
Right.
Like, what? Like, now we look at that and say, yeah, it's Guardiola doesn't invest. He doesn't invest, like, in a Leon Delap right now. He's going to go for guarantees because he wants the Champions League. He wants the Champions League. And a lot of money is kicking in. I don't know, but I saw news that the Premier League clubs did get money leaving the Super League. Now there's a cash injection too happening in La Liga. Yeah. So there's money. Money is there. Like, streaming, like, City are gonna go bold. And another thing I like to mention too to end, Ruben Dias is a beast. And Ruben Dias is gonna continue to be a beast. One of the best center backs in the league. He'll stay there. Stones is there too. And last mention, Laporte, yeah, but Ruben Dias is the guy, in my opinion. Of course. And the last player I'd like to mention is Foden. He had double figures last season, okay? So he'll improve this season, and the Foden that we'll see will be even better. So we're going to see an improved Foden, Grealish, De Bruyne, Harry Kane, in my opinion, okay? I think it's going to happen. This is insane. Ruben Dias too.
I'm going to say that there's also guys in there that all have chips on their shoulder. If you actually bring in Kane, you bring in Grealish, both on the Euro final losing England. And then you've got De Bruyne, who feels like his time's running out. Obviously is winning something with Belgium, although he's got the World Cup to think about. But also wanting that Champions League. You got a bunch of guys with chips on their shoulders. This is not like bringing in a Galactico to bring in a Galactico. This is building a team of guys that really want to get something done. So that motivation is going to carry them through. But you also got to say, if they haven't done it already, what makes you think they're actually going to do it?
Kane.
So it's going to be a fun season for sure. But I don't know, man. This is always hard stuff because I don't actually like. I would love to say we actually believe in these predictions. I believe in them in the moment, but we all know it takes like one news cycle for everything to change.
It's true.
Right?
We are one injury away of changing the whole narrative. Yeah. It is true. So I like to mention this, just a recap. My top six: 6 Arsenal, 5th Leicester, 4th Man United, 3rd Chelsea, 2nd Liverpool, and I'm gonna go bold just like City, getting Kane, number 1 Man City.
All these projected transfers, and if they don't happen, we have to do this all over again.
No,
right?
but like if Kane doesn't happen to City, that I feel is gonna happen. Like Chelsea might. We just go off again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. Let's see. So who's your top goal scorer? Leaving all that.
I let me recap my 6 here. My 6.
Sorry.
It's okay. In 6th, I've got Arsenal. 5th, Tottenham. 4th, Liverpool. 3rd, Manchester United. 2, Chelsea. And 1st, we've got the repeat, Manchester City. And I think it's going to be close, like I said, at the top. But top goal scorer, yeah. I mean, if Kane goes to City and it happens early in the year, I'm not doubting him. If he doesn't, and it takes a while, and this turns into some like NFL contract lockout craziness, although I think he's got a whole lot of respect for the club to not do that, I'll say Mo Salah as the Golden Boot. What about you?
The Golden Boot, I'll go Lukaku. Okay. And my 2nd place, I'll go Vardy. Because okay. I think Vardy still, with all this talk, all the attention, maybe he'll have something to prove too. And if we really wanted to go bold, it would be Aubameyang, right? But that's too bold, right? To put
I actually thought about that because we're like talking chips on our shoulder type of thing, right? And Aubameyang, I mean, you would imagine he's got one after last season and getting kind of dragged through the mud with all this. But yeah, if I'm going to throw out another dark horse, even with Grealish departing, I would actually throw Ollie Watkins in the mix. And I know you're saying Vardy, but I do believe that the Vardy torch has been passed. And I believe Patendaka, if you can keep that midfield core around him, he's going to get a lot of service. And I mean a lot. Like if Iheanacho could score 14, 15 goals last year, we know Daka can do a whole bunch more than that. So yeah, a lot of like dark horses there, but I couldn't necessarily bet against Mo Salah if he's got Trent marauding forward and Robertson marauding forward again. And then, yeah, if the Harry Kane thing happens, City, good God. I don't know what to tell you.
Of course, it's but if Kane does provide a lot of assists now too, so
that's true.
There's more to his game than just the goals. Right now, it's such a good player. And I forgot to mention this. I feel like the Champions League winner will be a team of the Premier League. I feel like these 4 teams are so good that they're going to switch attentions, and in the middle of the season it'll be like, okay, they're aiming for the Champions League. Okay, they're aiming for the Premier League because they're that good. But so assists. Do you have any top 3? Well,
I'm just gonna say if KDB stays healthy, I can't bet against Kevin De Bruyne. I don't know if he gets the 21 assists he got a couple seasons ago. But my God, if they get him a striker, right, instead of a false 9 type of situation going on, I do believe he could actually get up closer to 19, 20 assists this coming season. Dark horse has got to be Grealish. Or somebody like you never know how Jadon Sancho hits the ground running, or Emi Buendia at Aston Villa, who can deliver assists. Back in Norwich's fateful relegation 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I think he delivered 7 assists in pretty quick short order without having many strikers that could put him away. Now he's got Ollie Watkins. So
and Bailey's gonna score a couple goals in the Prem, like with that
that's
pace.
true. Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. But my number one, I'm gonna go bold here, and I'm gonna say Jadon Sancho. 85 million gets you something, and I feel like it's gonna get the most assists in the Prem. Jadon Sancho is my number one, and number two, I'm gonna put De Bruyne. De Bruyne. And three, maybe I'll put Trent just for the banter.
Yeah. I don't even see that as banter, man. I think that is fair. That is a fair assumption. He is.
Yeah, but I don't. I feel like De Bruyne and the gap's gonna be huge. I feel like the gap is gonna be huge. Sancho too. The creativity is gonna provide on that right side. I think Cavani. Yeah, I should have mentioned Cavani in the top goal scorer maybe. Cavani or Greenwood. They'll divide a lot of goals between them, and Rashford too. But Sancho, yeah, I feel like he's gonna be the assist provider because the tactic will be go to Sancho. Okay, I feel like they're going to be highly dependent on him. So Man United fans, sorry.
You made no mention though of Bruno. You think with the Sancho inclusion that it takes a little pressure off of Bruno as a provider?
It certainly does. Just like it took pressure on Pogba. It was very noticeable that Pogba actually felt more relaxed on the pitch next to Bruno. I feel like Bruno will be even more relaxed. And what's interesting here about United this season is that I felt like last season, the only player that really had championship mentality at United was Bruno Fernandes. And Maguire, he had a lot of complications, like he had the night out. It was a tough season for him. He did deliver pretty well with all those outside conditioners happening. But I feel like this season now, Bruno is on the pitch and he's looking on the right. He sees Sancho. He looks on the left. He sees Rashford with responsibilities. And he looks back and he sees Varane. Okay, so we're going to see Bruno Fernandes more relaxed on the pitch too. But I still feel like Bruno will rely a lot on Sancho on the last decisions. So I put Sancho with number one in assists. But Bruno will have one heck of a season too. He'll be the best player. He'll be the best player. As he was last season.
Yeah. Wow.
So relegation. Let's not forget the relegation battle.
Yeah, we probably got to start like moving through this quicker, right? Because hey, listen, here's what it comes down to. Relegation, I'm looking at it as Newcastle. They haven't done a thing. They have a great core. I mean, Callum Wilson will go down fighting. I love Miggy Almiron and his engine, but they've done nothing so far. I wish better for them. Maybe that core is good enough to stick around, but it's the same reason I'm putting Burnley next to them. I'm saying that the magic runs out for Burnley. I mean, I think they did splash 15, 16 million on Nathan Collins from Stoke City, I want to say, young center back. But that's about it. And they've kind of lost a little bit of their luster. And I think they were one above relegation last year. So they just kind of eked it out. And I think the magic runs out this season. And then Watford, I don't think they've done enough to, while I love the signing of Imran Louza, and I may have mispronounced his last name, I'm following him since Nantes, and I really, really enjoy his play. I like Ismaila Sarr as well. I mean, when he stops missing sitters, if he could be a little more clinical this season, he'd be pretty good. But like, that's it, really. You know, they're still relying on Troy Deeney, right?
Yeah.
So Newcastle, Burnley, Watford are my three relegated. I think Norwich City stays up by a hair this season.
I agree with you. I'm with you here. My notes are here saying Newcastle, Watford, Burnley.
Wow.
I'm on point with you. Yeah. We didn't plan this too. We didn't plan this. And wild cards this season, I just wanted to mention here at the end. Aston Villa getting Danny Ings, Buendia. I'm missing out. Who am I missing out? Buendia, Bailey, Ings, Buendia. That's a pretty good window. Okay.
That's like 90 million euros too between the three of them, right?
And they still have money to spend. So Aston Villa, they're going to be the winners this season, money-wise, and the team that they're building is solid. Is a solid team. And Wolves. I feel like Bruno Lage, go Wolves. It's gonna go well. So let's be hopeful with Trincão. But the player I'm hopeful the most is Fabio Silva. Okay, I've been saying every podcast now, Fabio
Yep.
Silva.
Yeah,
Okay,
you've been
let's.
consistent. You've been consistent with that. Well, all right. Well, a couple that I really would like to see. I'm wondering whether or not Marcelo Bielsa can replicate what he did and actually improve upon. But we have something called a sophomore slump here in the States. I don't know if Leeds is going to be the same team, but we'll see. I mean, Bielsa is the best, one of the best out there. So something tells me that they'll be fine. They locked down Jack Harrison, who actually had, I believe, double digit assists last year. Rafinha is only going to get better, in my opinion. Brought in Junior Firpo. Even brought in a young Norwegian goalkeeper, Clayson, to kind of give Meslier a run for his money. But I really like that Leeds core, and I think hopefully they can improve upon last year. And then the other one I want to say is Everton. There's a lot of craziness going on around Everton right now, especially with the whole Gylfi Sigurdsson thing and what the future of James Rodriguez, all that stuff. But I am here for any Moise Kean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, this resurgence and this like what is it called, double-headed monster type of situation. If Everton can get hit the ground running this season, I would love to see Keane come in. He had 13 League One goals last year. If he could come in and do double digits for them and just kind of wipe the slate clean, that'd be so cool. Do I actually think it's going to happen? I don't know.
There you go. So, Prem predictions, there you go.